Hello guys, welcome to the current affairs discussion where I'll be discussing all of the important topics that are necessary for UPSC and be it for prelims or mains. Right, let us start with this current affairs discussion without any further ado. Firstly, I don't think this is important for UPSC, but see that how things in politics changed. That is the reason I ask you guys not to look at politics that much, because this is all drama, right? Polity is something that you're learning about how India is governed now. Okay, that is why I ask you to learn about polity and not about politics, because everything is drama in politics. See, here you can see that DMK and AIDMK are exploring backing each other, meaning that two rival parties are trying to come back together just to ensure that a person will not become a CM. Right? That is the amount of drama that is happening in politics. If you want drama, you can actually watch politics instead of movies. Okay. So that is the first thing. You know what is happening. You also can use these kind of stats here, right? See, zero farmer suicide in the state, right? NCRP report. These kind of stats you can actually use in means whenever it comes. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, Telangana did not see any farmer suicides in 2024. Right? It says that farmer suicides are not there at all, meaning that on the farmer side or the agriculture side, all of the policies are very good for farmers. But if you actually see here, it says that, however, this does not include 5,745 daily wage laborers who died by suicide. Meaning that, what does that mean? It means that on the wage side or the laborer side, the policies are not that good, and there needs to be more governance aspect and more policies that need to be brought in to ensure welfare for the laborers. Right? Look at all of these, because they are given stats here. Right? They have given about Sikkim, then they have given about Tamil Nadu, Telangana, all these states that I have given. So just look at this particular article and take down all of the stats so that you can use it in maybe mains for society in GS1 or GS2. You can write it in governance. Right? These are two aspects where you can use, and you can also use it in GS4 ethics. Right? These are the three aspects where you can use these particular stats that are given. Okay. Here, the first article we are going to look at is seasonal salinity changes reshape Chilika Lake ecology. Chilika Lake is present in Chilika Lake is present in Odisha. Right? They're basically saying that there are some seasonal changes and salinity changes, and which changes the Chilika Lake ecology. Ecology is nothing but the diversity or the biodiversity that is present in that particular ecosystem is called ecology. Okay. So Chilika Lake ecology, basically in Chilika Lake, this thing called cyanobacteria is present. Right? Cyanobacteria is a phytoplankton. Now, what is a phytoplankton? Phytoplankton is nothing but an organism that is actually floating on top of the surface. Right? They are floating on top of the surface. They take all of the energy that is coming from the sun. They convert that sun into the energy converted from the sun. They take it and they use it for photosynthesis. Right? Whenever photosynthesis happens, they release oxygen. Right? Photosynthesis happens and they release oxygen and they store food energy. And these food energy stored is taken by zooplanktons. Zooplanktons are nothing but fish. Okay. So phytoplanktons are plant-based organisms which take in the solar energy and release oxygen and convert that solar energy into food energy and store it within themselves. And that food energy is taken by zooplankton, and then again that continues the basic food chain. Okay, that is what is present in this particular article. It's saying that the cyanobacteria that is present in the Chilika Lake is being reshaped because of the salinity and ecology. So what is salinity and ecology? Salinity and seasonality. As the salinity increases, some bacteria is there. Let's say X bacteria likes 35 ppm of salinity, right? 35 parts per million of salinity is what a certain cyanobacteria likes. As there is high amount of global warming, or there is high amount of what do you call inflow of nutrient rich water happens, the salinity increases to 37. Now this X only likes 35 ppm. Then there's another thing called Y likes 37 ppm. So on, there will be an increase in 39 ppm. So if you see here, when the lake goes into 39 ppm, meaning the salinity goes to 39 parts per million, X and Y will move out because they only like 35 ppm or 37 ppm. They do not like 39 ppm at all. So they'll move out. What does that do? That reduces the biodiversity in that particular ecology. So the particular article is saying that in the Chilika lake, there are two bacteria, right? There are two bacteria or the two phytoplanktons that are usually present. One is the synobium, right? One is synobium, and the other one is Synechococcus. Yeah, Synechococcus. Right? These are the two synobium or the phytoplankton that are present permanently. Right? The scientists have found that there are 20 taxa or 22 taxa, 22 taxa that are present permanently, and they found that there are 33 taxa, 33 taxa that are permanent seasonally, meaning that based on the winter season or based on the summer season or the rainy season, some certain taxa are coming and going. That is what the particular article is saying. And it is saying that as these are happening, there is high change in the Chilika lake ecology, due to which there will be some aspects. One, there can be algal blooms, right? What is algal bloom? Algal bloom is nothing but the growth of phytoplankton. Whenever there is high amount of nutrient enrichment, there is high amount of algal bloom happening. Whenever there is algal bloom happening, what will happen? Let's say this is the lake, and this is the top layer where this phytoplankton is present. Algal bloom has happened, and whole of the top layer is filled with phytoplankton. As there is full layer of phytoplankton, there is no light at all. Okay, as there is no light and there is no organic matter decomposing here. As there is no organic matter decomposing, what will happen? There is less dissolved oxygen. There is high amount of biological oxygen demand that is happening because all of the organisms are degrading the organic matter. Okay, and there is no sunlight. There is no proper sunlight for growth and all. So high amount of less amount of dissolved oxygen and high amount of biological oxygen demand leads to death of all the fishes or the zooplankton that are present in that particular lake. That is the problem with algal bloom. What does algal bloom do? Algal bloom covers the top layer, which increases the biological oxygen demand, meaning that organisms that degrade the organic matter start taking a lot of oxygen, which reduces the dissolved oxygen. As the dissolved oxygen is reduced in the particular lake, what happens? The oxygen present for the particular zooplankton to take in reduces, and all the fishes or the animals that live in that particular lake die. So that is the problem with algal bloom. Now, to ensure, to study the 22 taxa and the 33 taxa that were brought in that particular lake, the scientists have used mega, what do you call, mega, metagenomic, yeah, metagenomics, right? They use this concept called metagenomics. Scientists have used this concept called metagenomics. Basically, whenever a scientist is studying a lake organism, what they do is they try to grow that bacteria. They try to grow that bacteria in that particular lab and ensure then they'll study that particular organism. But in metagenomics, what they'll do is they'll take a bucket and they'll take a sample of that particular lake and take all of the organisms that are there and turn them into DNA. And they will take their DNA and they will test it, and based on those testing, they will categorize into which organism that is. Instead of growing and finding out how the organism is, they'll take the DNA, they'll open the DNA, and then they'll find out which organism that is there. So it is an easier method. So metagenomic sequencing is a easier method of finding out which organism is present in that particular lake. So that is all about this particular article. It is saying that the seasonality or salinity, which is changing the ecology of that Chilika lake, meaning that whenever there is high amount of salinity or change in seasonal, meaning winter, summer, or rainy, there is change in the ecology of that particular lake, which reshapes the amount of algal bloom that is happening, or the amount of dissolved oxygen that is present, or the amount of biological oxygen demand that is happening. All of this is based mainly on what phytoplanktons that are present in that particular lake. Right. Secondly, we have Supreme Court entertaining pleas on religious practices can have consequences. Basically, it's saying that if courts start questioning every religious practice of matter of religion, then what will happen is that you will only have many litigations and many challenges to the courts. That is what will be there. That is what this particular article is saying. It's saying that if the courts began examining every religious practice, when should the line be drawn? Right. That is what this article is saying. Right. It also says that India is not just a modern state. Right. India is not just a modern state. India is what? India is a very old civilization. Why it is a very old civilization? Because it has so much of religion, right? Religion is there. Then you have customs are there, customs, rituals, then festivals. All of these are there. The whole, this complete aspect together is what India is, right? Religion, culture. India is not only people. India is also its traditions, right? Indian civilization refers to all the traditions that are present. What are the traditions? The traditions are nothing but religion, custom, rituals, festivals, right? And temple traditions. All of these are there. These all together make India, right? Every person celebrates one particular religion, or they are celebrating one particular ritual. Everyone is doing something or the other, and that binds together, and we become an Indian civilization. Okay, the court is saying that as SC keeps entertaining pleas of religious practices, there can be consequences. Now, what are the consequences that court is actually talking about? Because whenever the court is talking about something like this, now there is always a point that court is making, right? If courts frequently intervene in religious matters, it could lead to endless litigations, right? There will be some person who might come and say that this particular thing is against my religion. How can you entertain these kind of things? Then there can be constant challenges to the tradition, right? Constant challenges to the tradition. There can be any tradition that can be violative of any fundamental right or equality. Anything can be done, right? There are n number of traditions which actually violate n number of rights. So any ex person can come and challenge that tradition. Whenever they're challenging their tradition, what is it doing? It's going to the court, and the court has to examine. Now the court has to do a lot of things. If you can see, there are high amount of pending cases in the courts, crores and crores of amounts of cases pending in the courts. As the courts start taking high amount of religious what you call cases, what will happen? More cases will be pending, and more cases will be rotating. As more cases will be rotating, the time of the court will be wasted, and the people who actually need justice, very swift justice, will be delayed. Let's say there is a what do you call rape victim. Let's say there is a rape victim, and their what do you call case is listed on the 100th or 1000th, and before this there are many religious cases which are very frivolous. And if they imagine, there are frivolous cases or religious frivolous cases where there are petty cases, and the court has to examine all of these cases, and the person who is actually in need of justice is being delayed, right? At the end of the day, what is the court used for? Court is used for bringing in justice, and whenever there is high amount of delay in justice, what will happen? People will take things in their own hands. People will start killing people, right? If you actually have come to my listen to my class the previous day, I guess, then I've talked about the bulldozer justice, where Uttar Pradesh is doing bulldozer justice just because there is a delay in the legal system. These kind of things will happen because the executive will take over, or the people will take over. Then the trust in the judiciary will reduce. As the trust in the judiciary will reduce, what will happen? People will start taking things in their own hands, and they'll not go to the court at all. Then there will be chaos in the whole country, and everyone will be killing each other or attacking each other just because they think that something they've done is wrong, or something another person has done is wrong. So that is the thing that is present, and it says that there are deeper constitutional tensions, or the what do you call there's a deeper constitutional tension, because if you actually have read the fundamental rights of the constitution, you have two types of fundamental rights. One is the fundamental right to equality, which says that you have article 14 to article 18, right? Article 14 to article 18 talk about equality. Then you have rights for religious freedom, right? Religious freedom. which have from 25 to 28, right? What do these religious freedom articles talk about? They talk about freedom of belief, right? They talk about freedom of belief. They talk about religious practices, religious practices. Then they talk about management of religious affairs. Right? These are all the things that the articles from 25 to 28 are talking about. They're talking about freedom in faith, belief, conscience, right? And also management of affairs. All of these things are what articles 25 to 28 are talking about. So, and 14 to 8 are talking about equality. The main reason why this particular article is given is because of the Sabarimala case. Now, to give a backdrop of what Sabarimala case is, there's this temple called Sabarimala Temple, and in which only men are allowed, and women who have stopped menstruating, right? Only men and women who stopped menstruating are allowed. Other than that, women who are actually menstruating or in the menstruating age are not allowed. So in 2022 or 2020, I guess, yeah, in 2018, there was a case that said that SC ruled that restrictions were unconstitutional because Supreme Court thought that the restrictions that were put in that particular temple were unconstitutional. But if you actually see, that is an age-old tradition. Now there is a conflict between 25 to 28 and 14. There is a tension between equality, meaning that women can also enter, or management of religious affairs. They have their right to manage their religious affairs, right? So it's saying that management of religious affairs versus equality is a debate in that particular Sabarimala case, and consequently, subsequently, many other petitions were actually filed, and the practice where these petitions told that practice is an essential religious tradition, and court should not interfere in the faith-based customs. These are the kind of petitions that actually come. This is why this particular article is there. It says that entertaining pleas on religious practices have consequences, right? Saying entertaining religious practices can have consequences. These are the consequences because Supreme Court has entertained one particular what you call religious affair case, and based on that, many religious affair cases are happening. Right? One, we have Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. Then you have Christianity, Islam. All these religions are present. So each and every religion has some tradition which is contradictory in nature. One religion might have another problem with another religion. So you never know what kind of what you call issue might arise. So Supreme Court entertaining all of these kind of practices or all of these religious affairs would actually lead to high amount of pending cases, is what this particular editorial is saying, and it's saying that whenever Supreme Court is dealing with these kind of things, it ensures there is cautiousness, because one small step can lead to big changes, right? Yeah, that is what this particular editorial is saying. You can use this in equality and also governance and also judiciary. All these are part of GS2. Okay, moving on. This is another editorial that we are going to discuss about. This is actually an opinion, right? It's talking about abortion law. Should the abortion law be amended for minor rape victims? India technically allows abortion, but only under certain legal conditions, right? Now this debate is talking about a crime is abortion a crime with exception, or a healthcare with right issues, right? This is what this particular debate is talking about. Is it saying that is it a crime with exceptions or a healthcare issue with exceptions, right? This is the main particular debate of this particular editorial. There are two major laws which actually regulate abortion in India. One is the MTB, right? MTB is nothing but the medical termination of pregnancy, medical termination of pregnancy act, right, which says that 24 weeks is the upper limit. 24 weeks is the upper limit for abortion. And then you have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which says that anything that is done out of except for the MTB, meaning that anyone who is what do you call undergoing the procedure of abortion, violating the laws of MTB, which violate the laws of MTP, they'll go into BNS, meaning that they'll be criminalized under Bharatiya Nyaya Samhiti, right? Criminalized under Bharatiya Nyaya Samhiti is what this particular which is are the laws which actually regulate abortion in India. And the reason why many what you call cases reach the court is because of one, it could be because of they cross the legal gestation limit, right? As I told you, the legal gestation limit is 24 weeks, right? Legal gestation limit is 24 weeks, and if they cross the 24 weeks, they might actually go to the court. And then you have hospitals refusing termination, hospitals refusing termination, right? Then you have mm, doctors also fearing prosecution. Many doctors fear the prosecution because BNS is very strict, right? Doctors fearing prosecution, and doctors fearing prosecution. And then you have all the rape survivors reporting late, right? Rape survivors reporting late because of all the tensions that are there, reporting late. Because if you see any rape victim is there, they would be hesitant because what the society might think and what their family might think, what the what do you call it? All of these things, right? Whenever a rape victim is, they suffer with a lot. That is why there's a delay in all of the what do you call telling people and all. So that is why there is a delay, and these are the reasons why abortion cases reach the court. Because even though there is a limit, there are many cases why these kind of cases reach the court. One is the legal gestation limit being crossed, and the second one is hospitals refusing what do you call the particular termination, and then you have doctors fearing the prosecution, and lastly for uh, rape survivors reporting late. These are the reasons why these kind of cases reach to the court. Now, uh, the critics oppose that there is a this rigid time limit, that is the 24 weeks, which is the time limit that is given for this particular MTP. Many critics say that there is this time limit is very frivolous in nature and shouldn't be there, because abortion is not just uh, terminating of pregnancy. Abortion is more, because real life is actually messy. If you actually see something, you never know what is happening, and real life is actually messy. And when real life is messy, you cannot go by strict laws, right? A rape survivor may realize the pregnancy late because they don't know whether the rape survivor might be a minor, right? Anything can happen, right? There are a million reasons why anything can be delayed. Okay, so a rape survivor may realize the pregnancy is late, a minor may not even know she is, and someone may face social pressure. I was saying, right? As I was saying, that someone may face social pressure and all to report all of these cases. So now the people who are actually debating ask that if the termination is it medically safe? If it is medically safe, why should uh, someone fix a legal age? I mean, legal number of weeks that is required. Right? They are saying that even if the abortion or the termination is within the limit of the weeks or the gestation limit, why should there be a certain amount of weeks be kept as a limit, is what the particular debate saying, right? The main constitutional idea is that in 2022 judgment of Supreme Court, they say that Supreme Court said that there is reproductive decisional autonomy, right? Say that reproductive decisional autonomy, meaning that uh, the main termination or whether keeping the baby or not depends on the person who is actually pregnant. That's called reproductive decisional autonomy, right? It's saying that reproductive decisional autonomy is present in the person who is actually pregnant. And why do doctors hesitate? The reason doctors hesitate is because not because there is MTP law. They hesitate because there is a criminal prosecution. If there wasn't any criminal prosecution under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, they wouldn't have hesitated. As there is criminal prosecution and there is prestige and they have to practice and they have a family to keep in, they obviously and majorly hesitate whenever these kind of things happen. And that is one of the reason. And the other reason is that there is confusion over laws because there is Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita and there is MTP. MTP is saying that under special conditions there the abortion can be conducted. There is no particular list saying that these are the particular conditions under which the abortion can be conducted. So there is high amount of vagueness in that particular law, due to which the doctors are getting scared, or they are actually scared for doing the abortion or the termination of that particular baby, right? Now this particular thing is called the chilling effect, where it is stopping action based on fear. Whenever there is stoppage of action based on fear, that is called chilling effect. Now in this particular aspect, doctors have a chilling effect where they are hesitating from acting because of fear. Now the important related laws are the POXO, right? You have POXO is there, Prevention of Children from Sexual Offences Act, right? And if a person is actually seeking for an abortion, like meaning that a minor is seeking from an abortion, what will happen? It will obviously invoke. What will it invoke? It will invoke POXO. That is the first thing. And then you have Preconception Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, meaning that they cannot uh, do all of these things, and these are the laws which actually ensure that the doctors are getting scared, and the fear is generated from these kind of acts. One is the POXO Act, second one is the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, and also the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. These are the things which are scaring the doctors from actually conducting the procedure, right? But the abortion, there are some countries which actually follow the abortion on demand, right? There's this particular policy or technique that they're following, that is called the abortion on demand, meaning that if that is particularly safe, if they are in the safe limit of the gestation, they can undergo the procedure of abortion without any without justifying whether it is what you call an abnormality, or whether it is a delay, or whether it is a sexual offense. Without asking about all of these, they'll just undergo the procedure. Actually that will ensure that there is reduced social pressure, and there is reduced trauma in all of the people who are actually going abortion, right? So the people who are actually debating, they suggested for a abortion on demand. Abortion on demand as a policy that has to be brought in India, right? Now they end with the point that abortion, saying that abortion or keeping abortion limits do not stop abortion, right? Abortion and keeping limits on abortion or bringing in laws on abortion do not stop abortion at all. What do they lead to? They lead to unsafe methods of abortion, meaning that there's a safe method of abortion where there's no complication, and there's an unsafe method of abortion where there's high amount of complications. So whenever there is high amount of protection for these, right, whenever there's high amount of protection for these, what will people choose? People will choose the unsafe methods because they want abortion, and they are at any case, they want abortion at any case, and they'll be choosing unsafe methods, which actually leads to death and might cause some other problems or some other complexities. So at the end of the day, it is dependent on India and the government of India to bring in policies to ensure the health and the well-being of the people is proper, right? So you can use this again in General Studies 1, General Studies 2, and General Studies 4, meaning that ethics, right? As this is a debate between crime with exception or health issue with rights, right? These are the two debates that are present. So you can actually talk about in ethics, because you might get a statement or a case study, right? These kind of aspects is what UPSC is asking. So you might get a question on this. So these are the things that are present in today's newspaper. Thank you guys for attending today's class. Hope you guys have learned a lot, right? See you guys in the next class. Thank you.